We are the largest client of the United States in the totality of all the goods. So we are the largest client of the United States. We have a tremendous auto sector between the two of us, and the changes that made have been helpful. 50% of a car that comes from Canada is American. That's not like anywhere else in the world. And to your question about is there one thing? No, this is a bigger discussion. There are much bigger forces involved, and this will take some time and some discussions, and that's why we're here, to have those discussions, and that is represented by who's sitting around the table.
See, the conflict is, and this is very friendly. We're not. This is not going to be like we had another little blow up with somebody else. That was a much different. This is a very friendly conversation, but we want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada, and we put tariffs on cars from Canada, and at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars. And we don't want steel from Canada because we're making our own steel, and we're having massive steel plants being built right now as we speak. We really don't want Canadian steel, and we don't want Canadian aluminum and various other things because we want to be able to do it ourselves. And we, because of, past thinking of people, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. In other words, they have a surplus with us. And there's no reason for us to be subsidizing Canada. Canada's a place that will have to be able to take care of itself economically.
So it's been more than a month, if you can believe it, since Donald Trump announced his sweeping and pretty ridiculous tariffs. But Mr. Art of the Deal, as he calls himself, has not yet struck a single trade deal, not a single one, with any single country.
You look for what's most likely. Most likely those trade deals are going to come from leaders that he's more comfortable with, and he certainly, again, says he's very comfortable with Keir Starmer.
Yeah, no question there. For President Trump, diplomacy is very personal. I mean, there's the degree of that for most presidents, but this one in particular, it's really whether or not he likes you. We know there have been foreign leaders he very much did not like. He did not care for Prime Minister Trudeau of Canada. But this is going to be a political win for the White House, Mika. President Trump up very early this morning, posting around 5:30 in the morning. We've heard from him a couple times already today about this. They're going to have an event at 10 o'clock. He's going to hold a news conference along with it. This is going to be something that they recognize. White House aides have told me for a while. It's been turbulent since so-called Liberation Day. They've seen the markets bounce back some, but there's a lot of economic worries. They needed to start delivering deals. This is the first.
Mainstream media can't really help themselves. As you saw from the video I did last time, I forget when I actually put it up. Scott Bassett embarrassed Democrats on the economic issues. Democrats kept trying to create this framing that there's no trade deals going on, that the Trump administrations are dragging their feet. And Scott Bassett kept saying that just be patient. We're talking with 16 different countries. And as you saw from this picture right here and also from the intro, this rush to judgment from the media is just bonkers to me, right? And this is like the media comes across like a used car salesman. You know how a used car salesman tries to push you to make a decision on a car? Buy the car, buy the car, buy the car. And this is the same kind of feeling that I'm getting from them now. Oh, look, it's a recession. It was a recession. Recession warnings are everywhere except in the data. So the media is saying, trust us, trust our narrative, trust our framing over the data. And this trade deal with Donald Trump that Donald Trump has closed with the UK is supposed to give us $5 billion more in access, market access, $6 billion in tariffs. The tariffs from the UK went down. The U.S. tariffs were 3.4, and now he kept his 10% reciprocal tariffs, which the UK and them are both doing. Unprecedented access to UK markets for beef, ethanol, cereal, fruits, vegetables. This will help the farmers. And the Democrats swear they're the party that helps the farmers. And this is the problem with the Democratic Party, is that they don't offer any other solutions. They keep criticizing Donald Trump. They keep criticizing him. But we always ask the question, okay, what's your offer?
Now, while the president is rightly drawing heat for his lack of strategy and faulty execution, he has zeroed in on the right problem, changing who benefits and how from the American market. This is the issue that can bring everyone together. Get away from the fringe focus and the discrete issues that are just about division and focus on the main concern of the majority. How are we doing now? And where will the jobs come in the future that give us the lives we want? The Democrats could step in with better ideas than what Trump has used thus far. All right? Instead, what have they chosen to do? Highlight that Trump has made mistakes, that he sucks, and to punish their most populist senator for wanting to seize this moment. This is the moment to see who gets the problem and finds the right solution.
If you don't, and the Democrats are fighting it only because they want to fight. They have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, if it was somebody else, they wouldn't fight. If you had a normal person, if you had some stiff sitting behind you, they'd be fine. But they have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, Senator Schumer's become a Palestinian. He's welcome. I don't know when they're going to give him the ceremony, whatever the ceremony may be. But it's terrible what's happened to the Democrats. So.
As much as I disagree with Chris Cuomo's framing on it, I don't think it is chaotic, right? And even in News Nation, who I think is a little bit better than CNN, they still say economic uncertainty, but it's a bet. We're all making a bet. You're making a bet that what Donald Trump is doing is not going to work, and I'm making a bet that what Donald Trump doing is going to work. Everything is speculation. Even I don't care how much economists you put in my face. They're speculating as much as we are speculating. And at the end of the day, the results is going to prove who was right. Not your words, not your experts, reality. Because at the end of the day, you can hide from reality. You can ignore reality. You can pretend reality doesn't exist. But you can't ignore the consequences of reality. And last time I checked, I think we're up 14% compared to last month, if I remember correctly. We're almost back at where we were at during Liberation Day, April 2nd. We're trending back in the right direction, and the tariffs are still in play. But, it's chaotic. Economic uncertainty. We all know where Donald Trump is going with this. We all know what Donald Trump is trying to do. I just showed you in the intro what Donald Trump is trying to do. He's trying to make America more involved in the producer export business. We're the largest consumers. We consume a bunch of stuff, a bunch of exports from other countries, and Donald Trump is trying to change the incentives so he can get a better outcome. Hey, we want America to be more of a producer. Hey, we don't want to rely on Canada steel, Canada cars. That's why I opened up with that intro, because that's the goal. But Chris Cuomo, you saw from the segment I showed you, he rightly criticized the Democratic Party for not offering a better solution, sitting there playing to be a critic, complain about all his mistakes and problems, but don't offer any alternatives. And it's so easy to say, what Donald Trump is doing is disastrous, whatever, and they could offer a better solution. Okay, what is that better solution? No Democrat has ever able to articulate what is the better solution. Hey, we have a trade deficit problem. How can we improve that trade deficit problem? Trump says, hey, tariff these people so we incentivize more American industry. Sounds reasonable to me.
Both countries have agreed that the economic security is national security and will be working together as allies to ensure that we have a strong industrial base, appropriate export controls, and protections for key technologies and industries like steel. Steel is a big factor. Both countries will become stronger with steel and things necessary for military. You know, we used to build ships and other things literally at a level that nobody's ever seen, and we've eased up, and I would say that the UK certainly eased up, but now we're going to be uneasing both, and we work together. Once again, I want to thank Prime Minister Starmer. He's been terrific for his partnership in this matter. The special relationship and external bond. It's really an external and an internal bond between our two countries will soon be stronger than ever before. And we really do. We have a great relationship. I want to just say that the representatives of UK have been so professional. And it's been an honor doing business with all of them, and in particular, the Prime Minister. And I'd like to introduce him now to say a few words.
Yeah, so one thing I think the smart thing that Donald Trump is doing is he's trying to spread, like, essentially, he's not trying to be dependent on one country for everything, right? And if he spread, let's say you get steel from India, or I don't think India makes steel, but you get UK, you get Canada, give yourselves alternatives. So if you're in a bad relationship with one, you say, okay, I'll just transfer my industry from here. I'll just pull more from here, right? Always having alternatives. And I think this is the attempt that many Americans agree with Donald Trump is, his approach is, let's change the status quo, right? And many of these liberals want to defend status quo. And this is why many times I criticize liberals for having a globalist mindset, aka like you do things that's best for, or you believe is best for the world. But end of the day, I know human nature. If you're accountable to everybody, you're accountable to nobody. Oh, I'm accountable to this person, so therefore you use this as an excuse not to hold or prioritize another person. And this is the problem with globalism. If you care about everybody, technically you care about nobody. It sounds oxymoronic, but it's true. If you care about everything, you care about nothing. It's like, because end of the day, people always gonna have conflicting visions, conflicting views. There's no way in the world you can appease everybody. No way. And liberals are mad at Donald Trump saying, no, the only people I care about is America. I have America interests first. And I think this is why the American first resonates with many Americans. Because this is the first time Americans feel that a politician is doing things in their best interest. And Democrats have not had an ability to show how their policies benefit America. All they do is try to gaslight America emotionally manipulate Americans to do things against their own interest. And this is what many people used to call suicidal empathy. Oh my God, look at these people. These people deserve a better place. Let them break our laws, stay in our country, be a risk to our people. As much as we just did a deal with UK is a prime example of this. There's a bunch of Pakistani immigrants causing a lot of problems for the people in London. But what Karen Steimer doing? No, you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to do that. Hush, hush. Let's talk. Let's not talk about what's going on. How much of a danger these people are bringing to the population, because it might be perceived as racist. Last time I checked, pattern recognition isn't racist. If I notice a pattern, a certain group of people doing a certain pattern, it doesn't make me racist. It makes me observant. And this is what we're talking about. This is the suicidal empathy that I'm talking about. And Trump's saying, nah, there's boundaries. And that's what conservatives believe. Conservatives believe in boundaries. There's limits to what you should be allowed to do. That's what a conservative is. You have a duty and responsibility to your people, aka American citizens. But liberals look at us like we're some evil people. It doesn't make us anti-immigrant to have strong borders, law and order, but it does make us consistent. It does make us reasonable. Hey, there's certain rules and guidelines that you should not cross. If you cross those guidelines, you deserve accountability. You deserve a punishment, aka you get deported. Democrats in 2008 used to understand that. But I digress. Let's continue with the trade deal.
Words, Mr. Prime Minister, please take it away.
Thank you, Mr. President, Donald. And this is a really fantastic, historic day in which we can announce this deal between our two great countries. And I think it's a real tribute to the history that we have of working so closely together. Can I pay tribute, Donald, to your negotiating team as well, particularly yes. Howard and Jameson, who've done an incredible job, a very professional job. And my team as well. Two negotiating teams have worked at pace now for a number of weeks to bring in this deal today. Really important deal. This is going to boost trade between and across our countries. It's going to not only protect jobs but create jobs.
But what media's doing? Oh, they're trying to pour cold water on this. Oh, the UK only accounts for what? 3% of consumerism and trade, and it doesn't matter. You still have the 97%. But end of the day, it's going to build a momentum. As one comes, there's going to be another announcement and another announcement, and the stock market is reacting accordingly. So maybe we should have listened when Donald Trump said not to panic. I sure as hell did. I told you guys I had that issue with my investment account. I sent it to the wrong account, and then I had to wait for it to get cleared so I could send it back to the right account. And I benefit greatly from it, even though I was late to the party. After Trump said he will pause the tariffs, I didn't get a chance to invest, but it didn't matter because I invest for the long term. And I think if you have a long term mindset, if you're thinking in terms of 2, 4, maybe even 10 years, this is a blip what's this? What's a month compared to 4 years? And this is the bet that I'm making. I'm giving Donald Trump a year. That's it. That's all you have to do. Trust him for a year, see where he goes with this, and then you judge him on the results. Don't let the media rush you, make a rush to judgment. They didn't even do that to Joe Biden. But, I digress. I want to hear what Kerry Steimer, how he reacts to this trade announcement.
Opening market access. And as you say, Donald, the timing couldn't be more apt, because not only was it 80 years ago today that victory came for Europe after and at the end of the Second World War, but of course on that day the UK and the US stood together as the closest of allies. And Donald, I think even down to the hour, because you may or may not know that it was about this time of day, exactly 80 years ago, that Winston Churchill announced victory in Europe, and that led to great celebrations across Europe, across America, but particularly in the United Kingdom. Literally people going out into the street, putting bunting up, going up to the palace. And so to be able to announce this great deal on the same day, 80 years forward, almost at the same hour, and as we were 80 years ago with the...
A little long-winded, but you get the gist, right? Trump is trying to not break, but he's trying to change the status quo. That's what he wanted.
Now, while the president...
He said this trade deficit doesn't benefit us. We need to do something about it. And tariffs was a tool he used to do something about it. Donald Trump said, hey, I want to change how things are. I want to break the current... I want to rework the current trade arrangements because I believe past presidents did it wrong. Many Americans said, yeah, you're right. We're not benefiting from this system that seems to benefit these globalists, these people who have no ties to a nation, these multinational corporations. This is what it seems these trade deals benefit. It doesn't really benefit small business owners. Sure, let hack at it, Donald Trump. And any little inconvenience, media is jumping on it to scare or fearmonger about, oh my God, the economy is going to decline. But we're damn near where we were at before. I think we're missing, 2 or 3 more % before we go back to where we were April 2nd when Trump first announced reciprocal tariffs across the board. This is the media. This is why the media gets the reputation that it gets today. It's because they'll say something because they're trying to get a certain perception. They're trying to get a narrative. This is agenda-driven reporting. This is what I'm tired of. I can go back. I showed you a picture of MSNBC saying that there's recession warnings everywhere except in the data. What does that tell you? The economy is going up. People have seen it a different way. People see this trade deal as one of many. There's going to be another one, and another one, and another one. And what they're going to spin it, how they're going to spin it now? What are they going to say now? They say the tariffs is going to affect jobs. We got a job report before Donald Trump's tariff announcement in March, and jobs was increasing. Government spending is declining. Government jobs declined, and we're still good. So what they fear-mongering about? The reality is they just don't want Donald Trump to win. Like I said before, in our modern politics, journalists believe that reporting should never benefit Trump. This is why they always cover Donald Trump in a negative framing. 83% of news media cover Donald Trump negatively. And they still haven't seen their bias. They rather, if it means Trump will lose, they rather let America lose. Democrats hate Donald Trump more than they love America. That is what is proven by their actions, by their words, by their results, by their outcomes. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.